Well, Mr. Graham, there might not have been any Prem due to the international break, and there might not have been any championship, but there was some League One, there was some League Two, and you know what else? There were some FA Cup replays as well.
That's some proper football, that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to call you out. I can tell you keep looking up at the TV to watch the Monday night game to see what's going on with your bets. I'm sure that's probably the case, doing the money symbol. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL Show, a completely biased brief recap of the English Football League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the internet from me today is my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How you doing, buddy?
Not bad, thank you very much. Enjoying this Monday night old school throwback, just run it football game.
Very good, of course. And as
this has been very fun.
Always on the ones and twos, we have producer Mel.
Hello. I like to get that last little bit of falsetto in.
Yeah, it's always nice to get in there. Very well done.
You're welcome.
I'll call that producing.
He has a very good rock scream, Adam.
Yeah, he very much does. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get podcasts. Typically, you can stream us every Monday night, but because of the international break, we're on kind of a weird schedule this week. So there was no DU football show, but there was a drunken whiskey show on Saturday night, so be sure to check that out. Should you want to chat with us, there are as many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It still hasn't changed. It's at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
Excellent. Sam and myself work in the wine and spirit industry, and since we didn't record a show, we are actually drinking something different right now, even though Saturday we drank all of the top 20 whiskeys from Whiskey Advocate. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, what are you sipping on tonight?
Man, you told me. So the holiday season, you know how I like to kind of theme when I'm drinking, especially when we're apart with what's going on. And I know you told me about the Pierre Ferrand portfolio when I picked it up, but I didn't realize how motherfucking good it was. So I have one of their higher end versions tonight, the Ferrand Cognac single barrel series. 100% Grand Champagne, which is a circular region of Cognac itself, where they grow their Uni Blanc grapes, basically. It is a unique cask. Banyuls is the cask type, which I'm not sure what that means. But it is a barrel strength single barrel cognac, which you don't see very often.
Wow.
54.3% by volume. That's 108.6. I don't know if you've ever seen this. This is apparently was distilled in 2011. It does not give a bottle date, so I don't know exactly how old it is, and it does not have a normal cognac designation.
Probably because normally I think cognac has to be blends of multiple eau de vives, so that might be why it doesn't have a distinct line to it, Sam. Like
it could be, but an XO, for instance, is a minimum of 6 years of aging.
Right, used to be 8, it's now 6.
Whatever it is, yeah, I don't exactly
it used
remember.
to, I'm telling you,
until now,
it is 6. It used to be 8.
Okay. Until now, I've never really sold cognac, so there's one legality thing that I'm not super clued up on. All I remember is that it does have to be specifically Uni Blanc grapes, and it does have to specifically be Limousin wood.
Yep.
From that particular forest. But
it has to be done in
alembic
still, and it has to be produced. I believe it's March is when the distill runs go.
Right, and it also has to be made in the appellation of cognac.
Cognac proper, of course.
But yeah, so it doesn't say anything else. So I don't know if it's an XO. I don't know if it's a VS, a VSOP, a Napoleon. It is quite dark. I don't know if you can see that.
Again, because it's I would say because it's a single barrel, is why it's not given a delineage of, VS, XO, that kind of thought process.
I would also just say, just given on the depth of color of this, it's probably an XO.
Oh, yeah.
And given the fact that it was distilled in 2011 and it's now 2023, and this was the fresh run that Bacchus received before we merged together, I would reckon it's at least an XO.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Probably.
And not quite a Napoleon, because there hasn't been 13 years. We wouldn't have got, if it was a Napoleon, we wouldn't have got until at least 2026.
Right.
So, because I think Napoleon's 13 years minimum.
Right.
But yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm sipping on. It is wholesale cost at around $95. So you're looking somewhere between 120, 130 on the shelf. Probably get a couple extra bucks out of that since it's a limited time offer. But it is fucking good.
Next time I'm with you, I want a glass. I've never had that. I would love a glass of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to polish this off tonight. Actually, I might do. No, I won't. I'll save it for you. But what I will say, too, is those of you that listen to this, you already know this about me, but I don't drink cognac often. I do like the yak, being of a man from PG County. But I do after Thanksgiving and after Christmas has all been said and done, and the kids are asleep, and you sit there and you go, God damn, wife, we did a good job today. I love me a glass of barely warmed cognac.
There you go. Love that. And
it is
just
delicious.
to tie that into DU football show history lore, very fun little fact. The very first time when you and I had the concept of doing this show, we were at your house. We put the iPhone between the two of us. We wrote out some notes, and then we went ahead and did what would be the kind of trial run. Can this work? Can we do a good show? Could we make this happen? And we did that over a bottle of Pierre Ferrand cognac, the reserve.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yep. And that night, sir, we did kill that bottle.
Yes, we did.
We definitely killed that bottle.
My cognac's delicious. I should probably drink it more often. It is fucking good.
Oh yeah, cognac's great.
I like Armagnac. I just never pick it up because no one else seems to give a shit, and then it's only me drinking it. And yes, I drink probably too much. I drink a lot, but I prefer to drink with
Isolate
people,
that.
obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I prefer to drink with people. The whole point is sharing a drink and telling a story. Like, that's why we're in this business. That's why we do what we do. And every time I've offered a cognac to most people, they say no, right? It's normally, actually a carry on from, no, never mind. This is a free show. Forget it. I'll leave that one.
Well, let me go ahead and tell you about what I'm drinking, Mr. Graham.
Yeah, please.
Doing a little
please.
bottle killing from the top 20 list. So the Tom and Toll cigar malt, the all sherry finished Speyside whiskey. There was about maybe a half a glass left of that, so I had that during sound check. And then I went ahead and killed off the bottle of the Limavady, the Irish single malt, single barrel.
Yeah.
That's represented by the Whistle Pig Company. So I'm drinking both of those, both really, really good. The Tom and Toll really, I think, was probably the star of the show. If we're by this time, people should have heard the whiskey show. But if you've never listened to the DU show and you've only listened to this show, go back and listen to us talk about a bunch of whiskey. It's us and all of our drunk ass friends. And what should we always do when we do drink, Mr. Graham?
Remember to drink responsibly.
Very good.
Unless you're 10 steps away from your bed for the night, which I am.
Very, very good. There we go. Make a little toast happen. Attaboy. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it.
Championship Corner!
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Oh, no.
No championship action because of the international break, but we are going to take a look at a few league leaders, Mr. Graham. So we're going to start off with the top 5 goal scorers. And interesting note, not a single one play for the top 3 sides currently. So
I'm just sharing it around.
Yeah. Sammy Zamotix of Blackburn leads the league with 10 goals. Jack Clark.
Always nice to have a Sammy in there.
Yeah. Jack Clark for Sunderland, and he's someone who was with them down in League One. He has got 9 goals so far. Adam Armstrong from Southampton also has 9 goals. Morgan Whitaker of Plymouth Argyle has 7. And John Rowe of Norwich has 7 goals as well. Then on the assist side of things, I'm just going to bother with the leader here. That is Leif Davis of Ipswich Town. Currently has 8 assists.
There you go. Awesome. Good for them.
I wanted to find out who had the shutout lead, but I could not find it. I even went into the EFL league page and could not find what goalkeeper has the shutout lead.
I gotcha. Because there's rarely a shutout. What I like is there's looks to be at least a lot of people of Scottish descent tearing the championship up. That's always nice to see.
Yeah. Well, and then of course Scotland's newest import apparently is Anthony Gordon, who's going to go play for them. So because he knows he's never going to make the English team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they so we talked about it a lot with some of the Caribbean nations, like what's his name for West Ham, Mikel Antonio, who has Jamaican heritage. Yeah. Going to play for Jamaica. We've seen it with
Damari Gray and Leon Bailey. There's a ton of guys that are all.
I mean, Alex Iwobi with Nigeria. Mm-hmm. Half of the Irish squad was born in England because their parents came to England to try to find work.
Right.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of people with dual citizenship. There's a lot of people that qualify for multiple countries, especially in Europe where there's so much travel and, promiscuous sex. So there's a lot of people that have shared nationality. I mean, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang qualified for like Six Nations at first because his dad was, Gabonese. His mother was French. They lived in Spain. He spent a lot of time in Germany and Italy and was able to either get passports or qualify for citizenship in those countries. So at one point he could have played for like 6 countries.
Incredible. Well,
wild stuff.
So moving on to League One, there were only 2 matches. Everything else got postponed. So as we talked about before, with League One, you got a lot of guys for like, Azerbaijan, or, Kyrgyzstan, just like where playing in League One is more beneficial to them than playing in, say, the professional league, the top flight of their own country. Makes more sense to go play in England. So
yeah, I mean, there's a reason that you don't see those clubs, and they qualify for European competition, but it's always in the qualifying rounds, and they still never make it.
Right, precisely.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's a reason you see that, and it is a kind of phenomenon. Because if you go to a Spanish third-tier game, for instance, you might get 80 fans at the stadium, 90 fans, 100 fans at the stadium. You go to fucking Leyton Orient, and there's 1,000 people in a 2,000 capacity stadium. You know what I mean? Like the league system in England, it's in awe, really, of the rest of the world, and it is the outlier. But everybody's got solid attendance records, except Wigan, which is a shame.
When we went to Pompey, it was a Tuesday night. 3 of the 4 sides of that stadium were completely sold out, and the side that wasn't sold out was meant to be the visitor section, and they sold some tickets to us, and that's where we ended up sitting. But the other 3 sides of that stadium,
in front of us were Portsmouth fans as well.
Yeah, we're completely packed. Yep. So 2 games happened. We had Stevenage beat Lincoln City 1-0, and Blackpool put the beat down on Shrewsbury Town 4-0. Now, one of the postponed matches, very important to keep an eye on because this means game in hand, was going to be second place Oxford was supposed to host first place undefeated Pompey.
Yeah, it's huge.
So
it's a big game.
That's a big game,
it's a very big game.
You got to imagine that's happening sometime in December. That match is going to get played.
The other thing too with that, Arsene Wenger used to say it all the time. Alex Ferguson used to say it all the time. Games in hand are fine, but you'd rather have the points on the board. You'd rather not have to wait to play those games because what happens? You get an injury, or there is another break or another competition that comes in, and somebody gets a red card. And if it's in domestic football, like the FA Cup, that which we'll come on to at some point, you end up having players that are suspended for the league because it's a domestic thing. And it'd be different if they were playing a team in the relegation zone, but they're not. They're playing second place.
And they're playing at second place's building, so this could also.
So you got to imagine exactly. You got to imagine that game's going to now be even tighter.
Yeah, as they are currently undefeated.
Drop points.
As they are currently undefeated, this is probably the first quote challenge that they could have really had, because that's a very losable game to the second place team in their building when they know you're undefeated and they know you're the first place team. That crowd's going to be up for it. So that was very interesting. 100%. Keeping it going on to League Two. Mansfield Town has now moved into second place as they beat Newport County 2-0 and remain undefeated at 9 wins, 8 draws, and 0 losses.
I mean, undefeated and in second place is funny just as a sentence.
I know.
But when you're drawing that many games, it's to be expected, honestly. I mean, you got to start getting over the line and closing games out.
Well, they just started getting.
You should be walking away with the league.
They just started.
The first sentence I said.
They literally just started getting over being on losses.
Right.
Yeah, they just started getting over on that. Now at the bottom of the table, Sutton is dead last, but the two teams in the second drop positions are a couple of pretty well-known lower league sides. You got Tranmere and Forest Green are sitting in those bottom. In what would be 24th would be the last place. No, this is League Two, so it's 22. So 22 and 21 and 19. So and I'm sorry, 21 and 20. Math is fun. Doing the maths, good maths. But Tranmere and Forest Green both in trouble, and the closest they are to Grimsby Town, who's in 19th, is 4 points. So they've got some work to do.
Yeah, absolutely they do. Forest Green is basically a result of Big Dunk not understanding what a vegan was and trying to eat their pitch, I think. And that's definitely given them a difficult start to the season. And Tranmere, of course, a famous old club. It would be a shame to see them fall out of the Football League. They need to get their act together, being the one true Liverpoolian football club.
Heard that.
They need to get their stuff together ASAP.
Now, the really important part, Mr. Graham. Who's Accrington Stanley? Exactly. You know who knows that? Motherfucking Wrexham does, because Wrexham went to Accrington Stanley, and Accrington Stanley beat them 2-0, baby.
That's it. You think everyone likes you because of your Hollywood owners, you cunts? Wait till you come to the late Orient of the North.
Everybody loves them some Aki, and it was clearly because of Ben's perfect pitch that the team won.
100%.
2-0.
Absolutely, it was. I saw a viral photo of him out there with scissors.
Just making it look perfect. Getting it done. Now, there was a little bit of controversy with the ticket pricing. And I gotta say, I side with Accrington on this one. Apparently, because Wrexham was coming to town, they bumped up the ticket price $5 more. And Ben talked about this last season when there were games where they knew that the visiting fans were going to draw more than the home fans. It is a chance to make a little more money. It is a chance. You know what? You got Hollywood celebrities all the fucking time, every fucking day at your fucking stadium. We don't. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to bump up the ticket a little bit more. Well, Ryan and Rob took umbrage with this and have now said they're going to drop their ticket prices $5 when Accrington comes to Wrexham. And it's like, all right, boys, I understand the sentiment, but also understand this is the payday for fucking Accrington, unless they advanced in the FA Cup, which we'll come on to.
I'm sure they understand that, but what they're doing it's the perfect. Accrington did present them the perfect PR move,
right?
Is all that it is. That's what happened.
Yeah,
and they are smart enough to do it.
Yep,
they're smart enough to seize that opportunity. That's all that they did. Mm-hmm. But it's Accrington's own doing that gave them that cause. However, I don't disagree either. I find it funny that that's a very American thing to do. And yet they seem to criticize us fairly frequently, the English, for the way in which we ticket and do our stuff and mix fans within the stadiums. And no, this isn't about Colorado and black people. This is about home and away fans. No, don't get nervous. But they get terrified, coming to NFL stadiums because they think we're fucking lighting flares and going to fight and shit. And that's not American fandom unless you're from Philly.
No, that only happens when you've had a 30-pack of beer in the parking lot and then you start yelling at each other about standing. That's where the fights happen. And it's not like a riot happens. It's like two drunk assholes get into a fight and security drags them to the basement of the stadium and throws them in a jail cell to be taken away by the cops.
Exactly.
That's what happens.
America.
Yeah. Now,
we can drink in view of our stadium, in view of our sports.
Mr. Graham, while we were away, there were a few replays of the FA Cup third round. Namely,
yes, there were.
We know that Barnsley was going to the Hornets' nest, and then Cray Valley Paper Mill had gotten a replay against Charlton. So let's find out what's going on in all of that, bud.
Absolutely. And I've had a little too much of this cognac, so I can't remember why the Hornets were operating the paper shredder. I don't remember what happened, but we've got Barnsley 3-0 over Horsham. They were the ones with the old sticky paper or the bug zapper.
Yeah, brought the raid to the Hornets' nest.
And they got I even, you know what, when you said something to me earlier, hold on.
Uh-huh.
I know that's not on video, but I pulled this out just to make you laugh, damn it. And then I forgot to bring it. And it is my Amazon tennis racket buzzer.
Oh, okay. For
son of a bitch.
That's what Barnsley did. Barnsley did to the Hornets' nest.
Into there with this. Yeah, that's what they brought in.
Oh,
that's a lot of fun.
Too bad, Horsman. We were fucking rooting for you, man. We were rooting for you.
Know. It's a shame. Petersboro, the Posh, they did beat Salford City on penalties, but it ended 4-4.
Wow.
And they only won 5-4 on pens. I mean, what a game that must have been. Accrington did lose to Doncaster 2-1, but it did go to extra time, so there was a lot that they could take from that game, I'm sure.
You see Wrexham? Now there's a reason why they need to charge extra, because they're not going to get that FA Cup payoff.
Exactly. Port Vale beat Burton Albion 2-0. Crewe over Derby 3-1, which is a huge result for Crewe. Derby in a very bad way, man. Mm-hmm. They're not doing well at all at the moment. Grimsby Town took out Slough Town, however you say it. Slough.
That's
could be like 4 different things that I've heard, like Old English, New English. I don't know. Could be slow, could be sloth. 7-2, just absolutely wiped the fucking floor with them. For all I know, you pronounce it Slough Town because they obviously weren't doing very much. Get it? York City 2-1 over Chester FC. Is that a women's team? I don't know. Chester. No.
Nice try on the dad joke.
And then Forest Green Rovers. Now here you go with a story that could possibly be used as a platform to stop fucking the league off. 5-2 over Scarborough.
There you go. There we go.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I guess the grass finally started to regrow. They were up 4-0 before Scarborough scored their first goal. So, great start, great thing for them. And then on Wednesday, Cray Valley, my pick for this year's FA Cup.
Yeah, clearly.
Absolutely fucking walloped by Charlton 6-1.
Ouch.
Now, they did have some parity. It was 1-1 at halftime. And the wheels came just falling off. They scored, Charlton scored in the 49th, 51st, 58th, 77th, and 85th. So it was all like 5, 6, 7, 11 minutes apart. Just bang, 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 bang,
It must have been one hell of a halftime talk. It might have just been, I will skull fuck all of you. Go fucking win this game.
Charlton, remember, famously have that sword on their badge. It's like, hey, put them to that.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys doing?
It's not that fucking hard.
So they did.
All right. Well, that's gonna wrap it up. You got any parting words for us, Mr. Graham?
This week, I don't think I do, actually. No, I think I'm good.
I've got a few words.
I mean, Colorado's
Fuck you, FA. Fuck you in your ass, FA. I fucking hate you. The largest point deduction in the history of the top flight of football for one fucking for a financial era, which Everton deserves. They did commit an error, but it was they volunteered to work with the league, and everything that got worked out was mostly a stadium deficit for building a new ground that does not give you any help on the field. Oh, and the other thing they weren't able to do that certainly doesn't help you on the field is they weren't able to sell a valuable asset in Gylfi Sigurdsson because he was busy in jail for allegedly having an affair with an underage individual. Now, he got acquitted of all of that, but they couldn't sell him, and they didn't make money from him because of that. So, Mr. Graham, I say the following. Fuck you, FA.
nice. There you go. Do you want my kind of maybe silver lining?
Sure.
I think you guys will survive. We said that on the whiskey show. I think that you guys will be absolutely fine. What I do think this is, and I think the end of your statement is what says it all. We will greatly monitor the other outcomes for teams that are under investigation. They're obviously talking about City and Chelsea, and they're probably talking about years down the line because there's so many potential violations that it will take years for forensic accountants to actually work out what the fuck is real and not real. Now,
not for nothing, Sam. Forrest hasn't had a shirt sponsor until recently, and they bought 257 players in the last season and a half.
Yeah, there are going to be one on the chopping block as well, I think. But I think what this decision does do, and what the FA maybe was thinking and doing here, is you all happen to be the fucking scapegoats, obviously, but to be able to punish City needed to be a precedent. Maybe. Right. And that could be the silver lining to be able to get after City the way they want to. See, we have done this before, and it was a harsh penalty. You know what I mean? So that may be the silver lining, is that teams like City that just literally do what the fuck they want, they now can punish them appropriately. Whether they do remains to be seen, and that's why that whole last two sentences of your statement from Everton Football Club was put in there. Is because if you're going to do this to us, you better fucking, if you're going to lay down this marker, we better see that marker fucking mean something in about 6 months or 8 months or 2 years or whatever.
Sad part is it won't.
We'll see what happens, but I think y'all will be safe. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So hopefully no harm, no foul.
Yeah, because I don't want to talk about my team in this show next year. That is for damn sure. Oh, all right. Next up is injury time, where we're going to preview the Premier League's action for the next week, and we're going to talk about the beers we were drinking, and we'll check in on our adopted club, Hibernian. So, Mr. Graham, should somebody want to find injury time, how do they go about doing it?
It's easy. Patreon.com/DFootballShow. Just sign up to that one beautiful, glorious $5 tier, and then you'll get all our extra content that Sam just laid out there for you. So we will speak soon, hopefully, and have your clean, crisp, beautiful $5 bill in our pockets. And then you get more jokes, more dick jokes, more racist stories, more a whole bunch of other stuff that we'd like to tell.
We put out a whopper of a sound check this week. That's worth the $5 right there.
Mel put out a whopper. Mel put out a whopper. We just listened and enjoyed the ride.
Usually per week average, you get about an hour to 15, hour to 20 minute kind of extra content a week. Which for $5 a month, you're looking at about 6 extra hours of content a month. That's pretty damn good, I think.
As Annie DeFranco once famously sang, white people are so scared of black people. Till next week, everybody.
Just a little nugget there. Good night.
For born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!